Good evening, Justin Sandler here, coming to you from the Valley of Los Angeles. It's Tuesday, August 20th. It's the evening and it is beautiful outside here in LA. So I'm sitting out here for a minute because I've been working on all kinds of crazy stuff. Had some ideas I wanted to explore and share, and also update people a little bit on what's been going on inside of my physical body. I haven't done that much lately. Sort of cancer journey, lots and lots of updates, post-cancer. Well, not so many things to update about, but at the same time, it's certainly not without its ups and downs and its challenges. And so I kind of wanted to just share, because a lot of people don't know exactly what is going on or what I feel on a day-to-day basis. And what's interesting, and like the title says, by looking at me, you almost can't tell that I was someone who went through cancer, and therefore people don't think that I might be experiencing any challenges. So that makes it also hard, because you look one way but you're capable, in a much different way. So let's just kind of get right into it, because I kind of owe everybody an update anyway. It's been so busy lately, trying to get back into this workflow when we were balancing our studio business, and I have a merchant services business, and I got my show, which has been an insane amount of work, and doing everything else plus traveling, and we've been all over visiting family in Chicago and Seattle, and so it's been awesome and exhausting and beautiful and amazing, and every other adjective you could probably put onto when it comes to seeing family and visiting and exploring and just doing life. But throughout it, there are these different struggles that you find yourself in when you're in the post-cancer recovery place. And you think every day is going to just keep getting better and better and better, a little better every day, and that's what you expect. But what ultimately happens is you get better and better, and then all of a sudden something else happens, and it's a side effect of, or offshoot of. So let me give you an example of what the current stuff is going on. So let's see. Back in, I guess right around January, I think, in the beginning of the year, about 8 months, I woke up one morning with a blast of vertigo, so bad that I couldn't even sit up in bed. And as soon as that hit, my right ear went, and it literally started screeching like the sound of the dentist. I had my teeth cleaned today, so I finally figured out what the sound is. The sound of the dentist teeth cleaning, high-pitched thing, that. And it's just only gotten worse, and it has not stopped since then. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so there are nights when I'm trying to sleep and all I hear is that sound, and it's not just the sound, but it's like Morse code. So it's beep 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 beep, and it's all over. It's like I was trying to find just the solid note for a while. And I was just kind of playing a groove to it, and just kind of imagining it was some just really high-pitched solo. But then when it started going all over the place, there was no longer a time signature I could lock in with, and then when it got really annoying. So I have seen an ENT about that, and my other doctor. My ears are clean, my hearing is better than average, so those are all the good things. They can't really figure out exactly what it is, but a lot of it could be chemo related or chemo inspired. Of course, I am a drummer, and I've been playing since I was a teenager. So if there was a little damage, the chemo certainly kicked it to the next level. Regardless of whatever it is, we're still trying to figure out and troubleshoot that, because it's like right now it's going off and sometimes it can kind of get on your last nerve. Really. Seriously. And anyways, moving on, what else is happening? I had a bit of an injury that I was nursing in my ribs from an incident in November. It wasn't healing, and I ended up having some tests done by my oncologist. We did a blood test for vitamin D, found out that the levels were really low. That's specifically from the chemotherapy. Bailey, shh, I'm doing a video. All these cats trying to ruin the moment. So I did prescription vitamin D, and I got myself up to speed, and my levels are good now, and I'm supplementing more with it. But the chemo, of course, was a big factor in that. The other thing, though, is we did a DEXA bone scan and came to find out that my bones had osteoporosis. And once again, that is like a chemo inspired. So I've been doing extra calcium and nutrients, and I'm taking a weekly bone pill now, alendronate, I believe it's called. I was supposed to have an infusion that was going to go once a year, but insurance didn't want to approve that. So instead I'm taking this weekly pill that you take every Monday morning, empty stomach, got to stay upright for a half hour, and then you can go on. It's got a few side effects, a few extra bowel movements, and bone pain, which is weird. Sometimes you just feel throbbing in one of your bones or joints, and that's from this medicine. But it's supposed to be helping rebuild my bones and correcting the osteoporosis, and along with my supplementation, hopefully we can knock this out and get off that medicine soon. So that's going on and going on. And then now about 4 weeks ago, I started getting like these weird dizzy spells. I always get these really bad head rushes every time I stand up, and that's been ever since I started the chemo and the surgeries, like bad head rushes where like I stand up too quick and I gotta like literally hold on to something or I'll topple over. So what started happening, just happened now, I'll just get like a little head rush that kind of just travels through. Sometimes it goes zzz, and then I feel like a tingling sensation shoot down into my feet. I don't know if it's neuropathy, if it's nerve damage. I know that chemo does do damage to the nerves, and so some of that might be chemo related, and nerves have to rebuild if they will. If they don't, I have no idea. But bottom line is we'll see what goes on as time progresses. In the meantime, between those head rushes, I've been lightheaded, I've been extra spacey, hard to remember some things lately, like a fog almost, and breathing. So the breathing has been a little bit more troubled. Sometimes I'm like, I breathe out, and then I hear like a little whistling coming also underneath the breath. Granted, they did remove like a good third of my right lung in the operation, and my heart is still, has a hole in the bottom and a patch of Gore-Tex, and everything's kind of redone. It could all be factors to it. It could be nerves. We're testing everything. So bottom line is I went to a cardiologist, my guy. We did echocardiograms and EKGs. Everything was fine. I followed up from a couple days ago. My heart still sounds good, so we don't think it's heart related. I finally saw a pulmonologist. I'm going in 2 weeks for a pulmonary function test. Last time I did one of those was when I had my mass growing. Those are fun too. I'm gonna do that and then follow up with him, and then also next week I'm seeing a neurologist so we can test the nerves, because I'm getting still a little bit of like numbness in my hands, my feet, and the ear ringing could be related to nerve damage, and the dizziness could be related to nerve damage. So yay. This is why I didn't want to do chemo. But I have to still defend it, because my tumor was literally about to crush my heart, and if I didn't do the chemo right away, it would have just called it lights out. So I'm dealing with the side effects in order to have a life. But when all these things are hitting all at once, sometimes it just doesn't feel like you want to have a life. Like, to get real for a second, there's been a few times where I've literally gotten to a place where I'm like, everything's happening at once, plus other stresses of life, plus maybe some things not going my way, and it's like, I can't breathe, and I'm like, man, I had cancer, I could have checked out. Like, I had a good excuse. No one would have faulted me, but I stuck around, I stayed with it, and I made it to the other side. And there's times I'm like, wow, it would have been easier to just out, because it's sometimes hell, living in this post world. Like, when is it going to end? Is it ever going to end? People are like, it's your new normal. It's like, well, I don't really accept that new normal thing. The new normal means you're going to have to adapt to the less than version of you that you are now. Sure, you can't run up a flight of stairs without getting winded or get a head rush without standing up, but no, I don't want to see that forever. I want to get out of that. Maybe it's going to take time, and I just need to be really gentle and forgiving and patient, but at the same time, when you're going through all those side effects, it's like, oh, so you feel like shit. I've been feeling like shit, and that brings me right to the title. Everybody I talk to is like, you don't look like you had cancer. I saw another new doctor when I went into the office of the pulmonologist, and I was telling her what was going on. They're like, oh wow, you don't look like you had cancer. If someone new meets me and says, oh, you had cancer, like, it's like shocking to people, like, that I had and I no longer have. And like, it's cool that I get the compliments to say like, how you look great, you look like you never had it, you are awesome. And like, yeah, sure, it feels good to not look like a cancer patient, because I did very much so for a time, and I didn't like it, but it was part of the journey. So yes, it's good to look on the other side, but at the same time, it's interesting, because when you're feeling so horrible on the inside and you look totally perfect on the outside, everybody thinks you're okay, and you're missing that compassion sometimes, the empathy to understand that someone is standing in front of you who's not feeling well. They're in this doctor's office, they're having trouble breathing, they're having trouble seeing and being dizzy. But because they look healthy, it's assumed that you're not. And so sometimes it's nice to, have the compliments, but sometimes it actually gets like annoying. It's like, okay, yeah, I know, I don't look like I had cancer, but like I don't feel good. So yeah, it's an interesting balance. I can't do anything about it. It's nobody's fault for saying it. I don't. Look, honestly, does that look like cancer to you? Obviously not. Like, I'm a beast, man. Of course I survived cancer because I'm crazy. I'm healthy. I'm still eating my vegan diet. I'm going to the gym. I'm pushing weights. And even though I don't have the same stamina, I'm still pushing myself and I'm getting strong. And I feel that. I feel like the muscles are coming back. It's now if I could match that stamina, I'd be good to go. So yes, I do feel good and I look the way I do because I've been taking such impeccable care of myself throughout the years before cancer, during, and now on the other side, and just continuing to push myself to rebuild. So that's really important. That's the important lesson, is that the new normal might not be the word I will take, or that you, if you're going through, would take, but you can say the 2.0 and just say, well, we overcame this challenge, so now we're going to build a whole new thing. That's not a new normal, right? That's next fucking level. So that's what I'm going for. So you should too, if you're going through a struggle and a rebuilding phase, and I know some of you are. So that's kind of the whole deal. We'll figure out what's going on with all the doctors. I have those few appointments coming up, and my next oncologist exam, PET scan, CAT scan, blood work will be in December. So on the good note, I am still cancer free, which means all the stuff I'm going through are inconvenient, sometimes painful, sometimes annoying, but at the end of the day, non-life threatening. Even what's going on right now, none of the doctors seem to think that it's anything that's any sort of life-threatening kind of danger. More of like, it just doesn't feel right, so it's manageable, if you will. So I'm doing my best to manage, and gonna keep plugging forward. It's been busy. We're in the flow of things. Then we just got back in town. I just put up the second of the 3 performances for the summer run of my show, Embrace Love Free, which has been a beautiful journey, a lot of freaking work, a lot of hours spent celebrating, a lot of hours spent stressing, and everything in between. I got one more performance, and I'm just going to keep cranking, because even as hard as it is, and everything I've put out as far as time, energy, and money, I get that ultimate payoff when I see people in the audience affected by it, their lives changed by it, moved by it, entertained by it, educated by it. So it shows that I'm doing the right thing. And I survived cancer because, yes, I'm a beast, but at the same time, I had a bigger mission, and that mission was focused, and that mission was strengthening what I'm doing as far as helping others through my art, through what I can do in sharing in my creativity, and being able to touch and impact others' lives. That's what I really loved doing, in this journey really focused that mission and made it stronger. And I realized, I was able to come through because this mission is so important, and that going through this experience is giving me the ability to reach out and connect to people through just talking, through coaching calls, through doing my show, some of the stuff we're working on here in the studio, documentary stuff coming out, and speaking, which I've gotten a few really cool offers to speak recently, and I've been able to touch some lives through just the spoken word, and that's really beautiful as a storyteller as well. So I'm really grateful that I have this ability and these opportunities to share my story. And despite what I'm going through now, every day is another day. You got to keep going, got to keep growing, be gentle. I got to keep remembering that. As long as I am, we'll get through this. We'll keep going. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to update you guys as soon as I have information about my doctors. And before I say goodnight and let you all go, and thank you for watching and partaking in my stuff, which, I need to sometimes share for myself too. Get it out, let it go, breathe it into the ether, because otherwise you hold on to it, and that ain't good. So I'm going to read you a quick entry from this book really fast, so I can leave us on some enlightened wisdom. As many of you know, I practice Buddhism, one of my spiritualities, the SGI style, Nichiren Buddhism, and there's a book that we have by Daisaki Ikeda with daily entries. And usually in the morning when every morning I chant, and then I read the daily entry. So the one from yesterday really stuck with me, and I actually wanted to do this video yesterday, but the way the last 2 days has been crazy. So I'm still going to go ahead and read this quote because I think it's awesome, and I think it'll be a great way to end our chat this evening. So here we go. Ultimately, we are responsible for our own destiny. It may seem to us that our fate is predetermined, whether by our genes or by our environment. What really matters, however, is how we can improve ourselves from this moment forward, how we can change the circumstances that we find ourselves in. This enormous transformative force is what Buddhism is all about. In this struggle lies the source of never-ending youth and vitality. There you go. Take responsibility, own it, love it. Mission, move forward. Have a blessed night. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys again soon.